How can you as a web designer maximize your revenue using your website? That's the question we're going to answer today. And I think we're going to do it in a way that's sort of unique, and at least I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. I'm Lee Blue. I help web designers land awesome clients through my mentoring programs at Lee.Blue. And I've been selling websites to local businesses for over 20 years. And I've been coaching web designers for 7 years. I have done a lot of testing in this exact space as to what are you supposed to say on your website? Should you post your prices? Should you not post your prices? If you don't post your prices, then what should you say instead? And I'll tell you, if somebody had just told me this earlier in my life, it would have saved me so much heartache. So when I was first getting started, what I did was I was trying to set up my own website and I didn't know what to say on the site. So I just Googled up other websites and tried to figure out what are other people saying on their sites. And maybe if they're successful, I can just kind of mimic some of the things that they're doing, at least in terms of the concepts and strategy. And then maybe some of that success would rub off on me too. But here's where I went wrong. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I'm just starting up and they have an established business. So their marketing strategy is going to be radically different from mine because they have social proof, they have authority, they have relationships, some degree of local fame, and I have nothing. I have none of those things. I just have skills, right? So their website is optimized for something different from what my website needs to be optimized for. And that's where I went wrong. And it cost me a couple of years of stress and heartache where almost all of my leads, well, basically all of my leads came from referrals and word of mouth referrals and networking groups and stuff like that. And 0 of my leads came from my website. And that was the problem. I wanted leads from my website. I wanted to be in control of my own leads because the bottom line is whoever controls your leads controls your business. And if I don't control my leads, somebody else controls my business. And that's scary, it's unreliable, and it's really, you're really not even building your own business unless you can know how to get your own leads. So I thought to myself, okay, what do I need to do to fix this problem? And that's where I had the realization that my website needs to be optimized for leads, whereas a more established business, they optimize their websites more for sales. And let me kind of unpack a little bit about how that works. Now, if you want more details into exactly what services we offer, what prices we charge, how we get the leads for these projects and stuff, I'm going to put a link in the description to this new workshop for modern client attraction. It's totally free. Check it out. There's a link in the description for that. But here's the difference between optimizing for leads and optimizing for sales. So in the beginning, when I'm just starting out, I'm really optimizing just for leads. But I didn't think that. I thought I was optimizing for sales because I was mimicking a more established business. And I wasn't getting any leads for that because people were hitting my website. They had no idea who I was. I had no social proof. I didn't really have any meaningful case studies. I had a couple of example websites that I had built before, but no real results from it. And I'm comparing myself to a business that has lots of reputation, like online reputation, in-person reputation, authority, established business, and whatever. And so why would anyone call me when they could just call the other people unless I'm competing on price? So then it comes to like, should I post my prices on my website or not? And in the beginning, when I'm first starting out, the answer is no, because if you post your prices on your website at any point in time, whether you're a startup or you're a more established business, it will reduce the number of leads that come through because your website is in sales mode, not lead generation mode. Because somebody needs to look at the pricing and they'll think, well, yeah, I think I could afford that price. That seems reasonable. Looks like good work. I'm, probably 80% ready to buy from you. So I'll just click the button and now you'll get a lead from the website and they're basically ready to buy. But if I'm just getting started, they're probably not ready to buy, right? Like, especially if I'm charging the kind of prices that I want to be charging. I like to charge somewhere in the vicinity of $10,000 per year per client. So again, if you want to see exactly what services and features are in my packages and stuff, check out the link in the description for that Modern Client Attraction workshop, and you'll see all the features and how we charge for it and all that stuff. There's about a $12,000 per year package in that workshop. And so that's the kind of price points that I'm looking at. And so if I'm going to put that on the website, people are going to be like, $12,000? I am not ready to click buy now on that kind of a button, right? So what I needed to do was I needed to switch my website from basically sales mode into lead generation mode. But I was so resistant to it for 2 reasons. 1, I didn't really know the difference between sales mode and lead generation mode. And 2, I didn't like doing the sales. I felt like I wanted to offload the sales to anyone other than me, right? So I could offload it to my networking group. Like I was part of a BNI group for like 6 years. And, that's like, you're kind of close-knit friends, so to speak. You've spent 6 years with them, you kind of know them pretty well. And then they kind of go around their day-to-day lives, and if they find anybody who needs a website, they send them to me. And so now I'm getting like word of mouth referrals and stuff like that from my networking group, and they're probably 80% ready to work with me already because they need a website, which is why my friend knows about it. We have this mutual friend in common, so I'm kind of borrowing that authority and that trust. And as long as I don't blow it on the phone call and, sound ridiculous or something like that, then I land the lead. And so my conversion rate from those referrals was almost like 100%. Like it was rare to get a word of mouth referral and someone said, yeah, you know what, I don't think it's for me. So I thought that I could apply that same kind of strategy to my cold traffic. And of course, it completely failed, and I didn't have any control over my own leads. And the bottom line is, if you don't control your own leads, you don't control your own business. And if you don't control your own business, it's very volatile, it's very scary. There's very little long-term, stability in something like that. So I had to figure out, how do I get leads from cold traffic? And I decided, well, the best thing to do is kind of flip my website from sales mode to lead generation mode. And so I took the prices off my website. But that was another problem. I thought to myself, well, if I take the pricing off my website, then maybe people will call me to figure out what the price is. But at that point, what I did was, my website was still in sales mode. I just took the prices off, and that's even worse because now they can't even decide if they want to buy anything. They're not even telling what it costs. So it was the key that sort of unlocked the success with regard to getting leads from my website was to switch the mode of operation for my website from sales mode to lead gen mode. And I created this concept called small favor marketing, where I would like dive into a certain niche that I knew I could help. And then I would offer a small thing that I could do for free that would kind of be like the first layer or the first step in a larger solution. And then I would talk about what the large solution was in the context of how it helps people. So I'm not talking about I'll do ads, I'll do SEO, I'll do web design and all this other stuff. I was really talking more about like, here's how we get traffic, here's how the leads come from the traffic, here's how we nurture the leads into clients. And once you have the clients, you got client retention or customer loyalty, like on the back end. So I'm talking about like these 3 or 4 major steps for why my system works. And then I would just offer the first step for free. In fact, one of the examples, I have a YouTube video that I'll put in the description as well. In fact, I'll put 3 links in there. It's kind of like a 3-step series. But the third one is an example of a small favor, like a little like mobile-y web app thing that helps you invite your clients' customers to write reviews for them on Google and stuff. And that could be a thing that you can give away for free as a small favor and be like, hey, we've got this big thing, but even if you don't want the big thing, at least call in and I'll give you this free app. And then, let's talk from there. It seems like there's stuff that I can do to help you. In addition to that, we can talk about it. If not, at least you've got this app. In fact, in my mentoring programs, we have a bunch of small favors, like a much more in-depth mobile app and a bunch of other stuff too. So the general idea, though, is that you're giving something away for free in exchange for the call, right? So now my site is in lead generation mode because I'm not really talking about my prices. I don't have my prices anywhere on the website. I'm talking about the overall result, but I'm not talking about the nitty-gritty details. I'm not talking about the web design, the SEO, the ads, the Google Business Profile Management stuff, or I'm not talking about any of the individual services. I'm just saying, hey, this is why my platform works, and if you want to call me, I'll give you the first step for free, and now I'm getting leads, and now the onboarding process is broken up into 2 steps. The first step is I get the lead. The second step is I actually onboard the client and like do the sales part over the phone or over a Zoom call. But it's not really sales. Like the thing that really opened it up so that I felt comfortable with it was I'm not really selling, I'm just telling. I'm serving, telling, whatever you want to say. But I'm not trying to push anybody into buying anything. I'm just saying, hey, in your situation, based on what we've just talked about, because I just gave you this Google review app or some other small favor, and I've had a chance to kind of look at what you're doing online right now, based on what you're currently doing and what I know you should be doing, because I'm in my mind already had the solution. My whole concept for a solution first agency, which is in that workshop that we talked about, is I want to know up front what I think my clients should be doing so that when they come to me, I can take a look at what they are doing and compare it to what they need to be doing and then kind of do a diff, like kind of subtract out the stuff they're already doing and you're left with what the extra stuff is. And I just say, hey, based on where you currently are right now, here's the next step that I would take. And then I'd have a couple of different options, usually 3 different options, like a good, a better, and a best. And they could pick whichever one of those 3 options would be appropriate for their budget at the time. And that's how I could onboard clients. And if they didn't want to do it, that's fine, especially since I'd already given them a small favor, like this Google review app, for example. So that meant like next month, if they didn't onboard immediately on that first call, I could reach out next month and say, hey, it looks like you got some more reviews coming in. How's the app working out? And then maybe they talk to me more about, hey, it's actually working out pretty good. I've been meaning to call you. Do you think you can move forward with that website now? And so you're giving yourself permission to reach back out to people, and you have this relationship, and it's all fun. It doesn't feel high pressure or stressed out or anything like that. And it's awesome. But then you get to a point where you've got some clients, right? So you get to a point where, I don't know, maybe you have 10 clients paying you $10,000 a year. That's kind of my goal, because that means you have $100,000 a year coming in. You got a portfolio of 10 clients, and you might think to yourself, well, I'm kind of busy, so I'm going to change what my website is focused on. So now I'm busy doing work for paying clients, and I don't want to talk to as many leads. And I have I'm more established, I have more social proof, I have more relationships, more local fame. And so at that point, you can flip and start putting your pricing on your website. But just know that when you do, you'll get fewer leads from the website because it's flipped into sales mode instead of lead gen mode. And when it's just in lead gen mode, you'll get an entire chunk of leads that come through. And like the first part of the chunk will be people they want to work with you now. Then you have this other part where some people are just totally disqualified and they're just not going to work with you. But then you have this middle part where they call you thinking they're not really ready to buy anything, or maybe they don't really even know what they need, but you can flip them from unqualified to qualified through the use of this small favor marketing concept. You get to talk to them, see what's going on, see where the gaps are in their marketing strategy, and then offer to fill some of that gap. And you've got the good and the better and the best level. So wherever they are with regard to their marketing budget, they can jump on one of the steps. And now they're in your ecosystem, and you can just kind of walk them up your value ladder over time. And then when you get to the point where you're busy and you don't want to have to flip people and you just want the people that are ready to go right now, then you're optimizing for time rather than leads, right? Or you're optimizing your workflow, because you don't want to have to take the time out of your day to convert people that are kind of on the fence. You just want the people that are ready to go. But in the beginning, I want the people that are ready to go and the people that are on the fence, because I'm not busy doing anything, right? I don't have any clients yet. I'm just getting started. But once I have a portfolio of clients, then I flip my site into selling mode and I put my pricing on the site. The worst thing to do, though, is to take the pricing off your site, but leave your site in selling mode anyway without any small favors at all. That's the worst example of all. So what if you're going to put your site into lead gen mode? Like, what's that going to look like? Like, what are some ideas to generate leads? Well, if that's what you're thinking, check out this next video. I'll give you 24 ideas. Actually, I think it's maybe a little bit more than that, but a bunch of ideas on how to generate leads. And there's two categories. It's stuff that you can do to generate fast leads now, but also, how do you make tomorrow easier than today so you can get some momentum going with your lead gen? So like the kind of the long-term implications of lead generation. So check this out. It's 24 ideas for more leads, and I'll see you right there.